Green, there's this whole massive Joey versus the West battle. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, a lot of records, a lot of people are like, I need an explainer so I understand what's going on in this movie. Because this is like an Avengers movie. Can you help us understand what is happening in
Completely.
Joey v. the West?
Joey versus the West. Joey versus the world, it feels like. But yeah, this starts off obviously with the Kendrick and Drake battle, obviously.
Oh,
And we know that that starts with the control verse. So if you don't remember this, Joey had a response to the control verse because Joey's an MC from Brooklyn, and Kendrick said what he said about New York and all of the people that he was talking about, and Joey stepped up and said, I love all y'all, but I got bars too. At that time, I heard it. It was cool. It was whatever. He wasn't at the top of the response. King Los had the best response to the control verse because King Los is crazy. Nice. But so years forward, and Joey's cool with TDE, all that type of stuff. So we fast forward. Kendrick, which I don't know exactly what character we would put on him, but we know that Drake was Thanos because Drake had the whole industry on lock. He had all the rings, and Thanos got out of here. So the blip was over, and that whole blip is that COVID time period of we didn't know what was going on, but Drake was on top, right? And boom, Thanos is out of here. So January 1st, this is the trigger to this whole battle.
of this year.
January 1st of this year, the Ruler's Back is when Joey came with his track, The Ruler's Back, and said, too much West Coast dick licking. And he called out Kenny. He called out everything and said, I am the king of New York. And let's think about this right now. Here's why that claim makes so much sense for him to say, whether people believe it or not. He's in this battle right now, and nobody's there. There ain't nobody there. He's the only one doing this. And when someone says they're the King of New York and they talking about this rap shit and MCing, that's a very specific thing. There's a lot of people more popular than Joey
Sure,
Badass that are from New York.
sure.
There's a lot of people with gold, platinum records, right? But they don't care about rapping. They don't care about it. So you can't be the king if you don't care about your kingdom. I remember one of the tracks dropped when we was on live, and I think that was Sorry Not Sorry, January 20th. But before that, Daylyt comes in. Hyu, Hyu,
Daylyt,
Hi, yeah,
TDE,
Hiyu.
LAMC, part of the Kendrick extended family.
Kendrick extended fam, right? So he comes through with that. I'm not very excited. Daylyt can rap. People know how I feel about all battle rappers. I held them at high regard because it takes a certain type of bravery, courage, skill set to be a battle rapper. Like people don't give them enough respect because they are performance artists as well as writers. They're like Shakespearean actors that have to perform and write the play. That's crazy to think about now, and then deliver and execute it, right? So those are
But
very highly
al-
talented human
but
beings.
also, usually when you write a song, there's not somebody trying to attack you
Yeah, exactly.
while you're doing. There's not defense that's trying to fuck your whole shit up. Like somebody's actively trying to attack your song as you're trying to introduce it.
Yeah, that's like Denzel performing fences and Viola Davis talking shit about his performance while he's performing, like and rebuttaling it. It's like, what are we doing here? So, Crash Out is when Ray comes in, because Ray supposedly he said that he got the okay from TDE because he's a Crash Out, and he said he called his joint Crash Out Heritage, came out January 8th, right after Daylyt. Right? So he's like, I'm gonna get in this. If he's talking about West Coast, 6 days later, you got two responses, right? 6 or 7 days later. At that Crash Out Heritage, Ray could rap, it was cool, but it felt just like Joey's Ruler's Back. It just felt like for play. It felt like you guys just want to rap, but not even directly at each other, really. You know, it didn't feel vicious with the bars. And so from then, I want to skip ahead because Joey said some stuff in Part of Me in February 18th. I think Backpack, no, YHRR from Daylyt comes out February 3rd and critiques Joey with his complex wordplay and all that type of stuff. But it don't matter till the thing that we checked out. That stopped hip hop when Big Sean, Joey Badass, and Ab Soul
So
are on this freestyle. They do the Rebel. That was impressive because you had two elite MCs set on both sides. I mean, on the other side before Joey came on, because I think it was, it goes Big Sean, Ab, then Joey. Joey killed it. He held his own next to other elite MCs. So now you have to look at him different. This is where I have respect for Joey off top, because I'm like, you had to go at people and stand beside people who are elite MCs. Like Ab and Big Sean are nothing to play with lyrically. So now I'm listening. Now we paying attention. Now I'm like, what's going to happen? And then 24 hours later, I believe. It was 24 hours later because that was the whole thing. Whole Era comes out by Ray Vaughn. To me, that's when the battle starts. That's when I care. I feel like that's when we started caring. After that, now we know what happened. Finals comes out the day after. Finals was cool, but we were edging towards Ray after finals, because that's round one, even though like this is round one for me, because all this other stuff we just said just happened. But this is when the battle's really good. This is when hip hop starting to care, right? Not just the fan bases. Now the culture's caring. Like right now, you've seen people on TikTok talking about it. They want to know about it. They need to understand it. So just come here. This is the explainer.
It's all over the place. This is huge
all
right
over
now.
The place. This is very much thing, and this is good for Joey. But we'll get into that. Ray Vaughn is edging with Whole Era. After that, we're talking about Ray coming back. No, Daylyt comes back with Word to Mother, I think it is. And we escalates the whole feud at that point. Golden, then May 19th, My Town. May 19th was the day, actually. Because that's when My Town comes out by Joey. And Loaded Lux gets on the end of the track to go at Daylyt and represent New York, really, more so. And Joey goes at everybody. Then GoldenEye comes out the same day. That's when Ray Vaughn does the 50 Cent beat. GoldenEye comes out the same day. Ray Vaughn does the 50 Cent beat. We enjoyed that. He had some bars. He was talking about the Diddy stuff. He really escalated it with all that. But the song that we like from Joey the most, Crash Dummy, that comes out the next day. Barely 24 hours. Barely 24 hours. He comes out. Just, I loved it. I love that record. He's holding his own. We are forgetting, though, I forgot that Reason dropped May 16th. That's the one that we checked out, the Dead Apple, right?
Like that one.
But May 19th and May 20th, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 diss tracks in a matter of 2 days dropped. Like, I have to read it. Like, I don't have this on. 9 diss tracks?
I love
That's
it.
Beautiful.
I love
That's
it.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it. The boys is beefing, they battling, they're in the ring fighting. The rhymes is hard. This battle has gotten progressively harder over time. I appreciate the coastal battle that stays on wax, but is nasty, and they're going after each other. This is overall, I don't think there's a clear winner. I think if you want to say Joey's winning, you could make that argument. If you want to say the West Coast is winning, but that's a whole group of people, like you could make that argument. But like hip hop is winning because there's a lot of dope records. Both people are killing it on both sides. And Joey, maybe Joey wins because of this sort of point. He's being elevated in this because it's a 20v1.
I think Joey's winning the most personally. And I don't even like to say the coastal thing because that has so much negative connotation. And it's also just not correct. It seems incorrect for this because it's Joey versus the West Coast. And the West Coast is just like, they're the new Avengers. So if you just took out Thanos, Kendrick took out Thanos, the new Avengers are coming out to fight King the Conqueror, who's Joey Badass, who came out and said, "I'm the Conqueror, I'm the King," and he's like, too much West Coast dick licking. And then these new Avengers came out here to go.
You think that he knew when he wrote too much West Coast dick licking that would bring the West Coast to attack him, or you sort of say those things and you don't know that it's going to cause a reaction?
He knew. How do you say that?
He wanted
that's the one coast you can't say. That's the one coast you can't say shit to. Like, they gonna follow suit. Like, you can't just be like, yeah, the West Coast anything. Like, that all of West Coast is gonna be like, what are you talking about? Like, you got a problem? Because of the history of that. You know what I'm saying? And but right now it doesn't seem like there doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. I see a lot of winners. They're all winning in this. I'm more into hearing records from every single one of these artists because of this battle.
Yes. One thing I notice in battling a lot of times is the notion of inception, that you are trying or succeeding at making the audience think differently or see your opponent differently. Suddenly you see Drake as a father, or you suddenly see in the push-up battle, or you suddenly see Drake as, a terrible human being who's a colonizer and a gentrifier, and the Kendrick battle, whatever. I haven't yet seen that sort of inception happening where folks are saying, we're getting quippy bits, but not like, see, and I don't mean the gossip. I'm not talking about that, but like, you should look at Joey differently because if you understand this, and oh, wow, that changes how I see Joey or Ray or any of these guys. That hasn't happened yet.
I don't think it hasn't happened yet, and that's why I say that they're all winning, because everybody is just looked at as, oh, y'all can rap. Everyone's looked at as, oh, you actually did that, except for we forgot to mention CJ Fly, Hitta J's records. There's a lot of records in this battle. CJ Fly came around the same time in the May 19th area, but CJ's responses weren't the greatest. And then we got Curtis, who came in and responded, CJ. Yeah. So that happened, and that's out of there. AZ Chike came with What Would You Do on May 19th as well, which was honorable, and he's questioning Joey's authenticity and all that. But like you said, it doesn't do anything to the character of Joey Button in the public perception, because from public perception, Joey's doing this by himself and standing up still. If you're in a fight and 6 niggas is fighting against you and you're still standing, we're not going to look at you like you're a bitch.
No, you're the man. You're the man.
You still standing.
So wait, so I asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you this again. Who from New York should be jumping out to say, if they're attacking New York and lyricists are standing up, I gotta go. The bat signal is up. You're calling me. It's not Jay-Z and Nas. That's a different generation.
It's a completely different generation. I think you hit your microphone.
There's certain people we could think of who really aren't lyricists, so they really shouldn't be in this conversation. Like, who should be here?
That's the actual issue. Like, why I think that let me gather my thoughts here. This is why Joey Badass's claim to being the king of NYC feels respectable for him to say it from his perspective, because nobody else cares about him seeing and would put themselves out in this space. This is a certain type of mentality, certain type of character trait of a rapper and artist, to be like, I want to state my claim that I'm better than you. Whereas, like, if you're just worried about your fashion, your hit singles, your label deals, your sponsorships, and you're in that world only, which Joey's been in that world. He's a successful actor, right? That's all you care about. And most people from NYC are that archetype right now. They're the brand facing archetype. Most MCs, the ones that, like, A$AP Rocky's at that level.
Yeah.
A$AP Rocky should say he's the king of New York, but I don't think he cares to. I don't think he cares to that. He's like, I'm Harlem. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think he
can't
cares to do
say
that.
it. You can't say it with given his recent track record. And I love ASAP Rocky, but he he don't have the recent resume for all that. Uh, it's crazy that I mean, it kind of goes to the LA guys' point that Joey is the only one standing up for New York.
Yeah, I mean because everyone else is either of a generation they probably feel too big for to do this. You know what I'm saying? And just think of people from his generation that's New York. Joey came out at a time I think where New York was real quiet too. Like at least right now you got drill rappers, right? In a drill scene. But those guys don't really care about their
What is
battles a different
really
type
so
of battle.
Joey's just out there by
Yeah, you
himself.
got the Griselda guys who are not from New York City, as you said, but they could rep East Coast if they felt like it. But I don't think they think it's
Let's
their
be
fight.
clear that when we're talking about New York, we are not talking about Griselda. Griselda is New York State. That is Buffalo. That is a many hours drive away. That is
But why can the
culturally.
whole West Coast be more than L.A.?
That's a great question. I mean, well, see, you said coast, right? And like, yes, for sure, the East Coast is, New York, uh, Philadelphia, New Jersey has a proud hip hop history. DC does not, but when we talk about the East Coast in any other cultural context, we were
Yeah,
talking about DC as well. Um,
I
the
feel like DC is not East Coast, but I feel you. Culturally, I feel like yeah, it becomes a different. That's like tri-state area is East Coast to me. But in this language, obviously the entire East Coast is East Coast.
I'll grant you that. I think that DC, and we're getting off subject, but I think DC is a
Yeah,
gray area where is it East Coast? Maybe, maybe not.
yeah,
But
okay.
like, I think that culturally, LA, San Francisco, and Oakland have been in conversation in many ways that they're unique, but then they're also unified, especially within hip hop.
Yeah.
Buffalo and New York City are not in conversation, and we like. I love Griselda, but then when you're talking about New York, when Daylyt and these niggas are talking about New York, they're not talking about Buffalo. They're talking about the five boroughs where the shit came from, and
Well,
it,
Reason shouted out Griselda in them when he was talking about New York.
no, I understand that he did that. Which is,
And
if he
and
hadn't
even
done
though
that, we wouldn't be mentioning Griselda in this conversation at all
no,
because
I would because I would just because they're not New York City. They're Buffalo, New York, but they are East Coast as fuck, and they are descendants of that East Coast ethos as
100%.
well as art style. So they represented the most in the core of MCing from an East Coast
I
perspective.
mean, maybe this is an irrelevant question, but is this Joey slash New York versus TDE slash LA, or is it East Coast West Coast? Because I don't think it's East Coast West
It's
Coast.
not. It's not the coastal thing. It's Joey by himself,
Yeah,
and
Joey versus TDE.
it is. But he evoked the West Coast dick licking line, and then those other MCs had a problem with it, so they started talking about New York
No, that's
City.
fine. You made a video once that I appreciated. It was
Mhm.
not the back in the 90s, it was not East West. It was Bad Boy and Death Row. There was
Mhm.
very little out, almost no. New York was readying one song that involved Busta and others that didn't ever act. Nas was supposed to be up, but didn't actually materialize, right? But
Mhm.
it was not East West. It was Bad Boy and Death Row, right? And this is Joey and TD. It's not East West. So Griselda, we love them. They're not in the conversation.
They could if they wanted to. That's my point. But they're not. If you wanted to be like, yo, you ain't the king of nothing. If you wanted to, anyone could insert themselves in this. Obviously,
I mean, anyone could jump
if you
in.
are a New York MC and you wanted to get some clout and you felt like you could do something, you could come out here and find a case, find a reason, just like Reason did.
But here's the
Reason did not have to do anything.
but here's the question, because we've been seeing sometimes battle rappers making songs is trickier for them, right? They come from a different milieu. Griselda, all those guys are some of the best song makers of today. Might you see like the other direction when the song makers try to get down with the battle rappers? Like, that's not your lane.
Well, we could see that in this battle. One, MCing has you have that a little bit in your head of like, I gotta be able to take this person out. If you especially if you were born before the 2000s, you came up rapping and had to battle people. That's just period. If you were born before the 2000s, you were in battles because there was no other way to like rap. Like you rap people at school, you go to actual battles in the city. You had to battle people in ciphers and battles, right? And a cipher would turn into a battle anyways. Everybody's rapping, getting their bars off. Somebody says something you don't like, you take his bar, flip it back at him, and now you guys are battling. So that's just it was sport. It was beautiful, and we loved each other after the whole thing. Now, in that whole thing that you're talking about, that's why you see the certain criticisms that I would have and concepts. Joey Badass had the dog scheme that we were talking about, right? That's a very battle rap mentality in the scheme world, right? But it's very like live battle rap, and that's a dog scheme because this person's in TDE, but that doesn't work as a diss record. You see, because this diss record is a different thing than battle rapping. Two different things. Now, not reason. When you talked about someone who can make a song but can't battle rap, someone who can battle. Now, Daylyt, he's an elite battle rapper, and he came in and found a pocket for him on the AO track that we enjoyed.
One of the dogs.
It's still one of the best in the whole thing. Like it was very layered.
Yeah, let's end on this. What are the top 3 records in this battle at this point?
Top 3 records for me in this battle is Joe. This is no order. I'm just saying that Joey Badass is Crash Dummy, Whole Era by Ray Vaughn, and Ayo Daylyt. Oh, and Reason's joint is good too. So I'm gonna give that honorable mention.
You named like 5 records.
I named 4. I only named 4. 3. I told you the 3, and the honorable mentions being Reason. The 3 are Crash Dummy, Whole Era, and Ayo by Daylyt.
I hate how much I like the Rotten Apple New York disses, those 2 records, but those records are hot. Daylyt is on fire. With the joint we talked about yesterday. Yeah, Ray Vaughn has showed me, just how great he can be. It's been hot. It's been hot overall. What was the whole? I keep fucking up the name. What is it? Whole
Era.
This battle's been the shit.
It's been fun, and we're gonna stay with it. We're gonna come back because I know there's gonna be more tracks. So, but that's us explaining it loosely explained by Rap Latte. Thank y'all for watching.